This is Scorpio,
And Aquarius.
and we're going to be talking today a little bit about how to find truth and what's important to go along with it. Spirituality is definitely a very important piece that a lot of people are missing.
Well, I think today we're mainly going to talk about why spirituality is important for the truth movement. Because this is what I see a lot of on Facebook, as a lot of people that have pieces of what's right, and a lot of people, I guess, they focus on what their thing is, right? Some people do history, some people will focus on like the flat earth, some people focus on everything. Okay, and that's good and everything. But bringing all of it together, we have to understand, or at least I guess what I'm seeing is that there's not really a lot of bringing it all together, the spiritual part of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of heavy focus on stuff, but it's like if you don't have the spiritual aspect to it, you're missing kind of the fundamental purpose of all of this.
I feel like it's part of the big picture. It brings all the little pieces together, having that underlying understanding of real truth and oneness, and this just the spiritual part of all of this and why we're all here and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Pulls everything together. It's like the missing piece to all the little puzzles of why are they lying to us? Why it's all this? Why are we in this system where everyone's getting poisoned? Like, what's going on with the world? What the heck? Is the world gonna end? Oh my gosh! It's like the missing piece of the puzzle.
Yeah,
to me at least.
It definitely was for me as well. It allows you to actually have a more kind of a happy existence, and you're not fearful of like everything, in which everything seems kind of doomy and gloomy. But it definitely changes that when you actually have a solid spiritual foundation.
And it's not, and we're not talking about like going and being like, we're not talking about being indoctrinated by a religion that's there to, you know, control people's mind and direct them in the wrong direction. We're not talking about that. We're talking about real truth, spirituality. Like, go back to the ancient scriptures and like, you know, like find the truth in spirituality as well. But
yes. Tell us a little bit about your journey to find spiritualism.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, before we get too far, I want to, what do they call it, a shout out to our first subscriber and our first person who made a comment. I believe their name was Blog Like No One's Watching. One of our first subscriber to this channel. So like thank you for that.
That's a good name, because that's pretty much how you should do things. You keep your integrity, right?
Right. Yes, thanks for that. And anyone else who watches, and hopefully we continue putting videos that you are interested in and want to watch too, or share the information, share the love, share the truth. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. So let's see, my waking up experience, well, like I said, my whole life I've been kind of like, what the heck, this is not right, something's up with this world. But anyway, so mainly, I think it was mid 2015, so that was like 2 years ago about, is when I ran head first into all the lies, and like, oh my gosh, none of our history is true. Nothing about the world we live in is true. Like, what the heck? And I didn't have a very spiritual background growing up. We grew up kind of Muslim, but not really. So that was kind of my spiritual background. So it was like,
oh, okay.
We fasted during Ramadan, but we didn't like go
to the mosque all the time.
Not all the time, but we did a few times. Enough for me to go, I think I'm Muslim. That's pretty good. But
gotcha.
So from that to mid 2015, I believe it wasn't until January about of 2017, so about a year and a half ago, through all my searching and trying to find the truth, I came across my now guru. I believe they're called, I always mess up on the name because this is not my language. I have to it's Paramahamsa Nithyananda, who is a enlightened spiritual master from India, and he teaches people basically the ancient scriptures, the Agamas and the Vedas, how to live and realize that you are one pretty much with everyone and everything, and with Sadashiva, or the whole existence pretty much.
Okay.
Sort of. Something like that in a nutshell. But I know what I'm doing, okay? I sound like, I'm so confused.
No, okay. Definitely. Because I remember you've read through a lot of different spiritual texts too. Which different spiritual texts did you go through before you even found your guru?
So I've studied a lot of general spirituality, of course, Christianity. I read the Quran, and I read a lot of, well, this is Hinduism basically, but I read a lot of the Hindu scriptures as well, the ancient ones, the Upanishads.
So it's not like you just came with I just found someone. You actually have researched deeper into multiple religions and different spiritual texts and stuff like that. So you have a pretty solid foundation. So that led you down the path where you are today.
Yeah. So it wasn't like I found out all this truth and now what do? I guess I need to find some kind of religion. It wasn't really like that. It was more like, because I feel like your soul knows that there's more to all this, obviously, than just like, oh, they're lying to us, we are under control, quote unquote, or whatever. Life is pointless, everything's a lie, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just that, and you're deep down, you know this, and so that part of me that knew that was still trying to find that piece of the puzzle, and that's when I came across my guru. And then so the summer of 2017, which is about a year ago, I went to India for about a month. And learned in a program called Inner Awakening. I learned with my guru. And yeah, so I feel like that was finding, and I think in our description, I'll put a link to the website for
the Inner Awakening program.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that was the missing piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. I remember after you came back, you were definitely had a different air about you. You seemed much more confident about the world and where we are as people, and your spiritual practice as a whole, took on a whole nother level, like night and day difference before you left and when you came back.
Yeah.
Cause I remember before, we kept just talking about all the different truths we found and how everything seems so messed up. And
yeah, why is the world so effed up? You almost you want some kind of revenge for it. It's like, oh my gosh, what do we do about this?
And then just way different when you came back.
Yeah, you realize it broadens your perspective on everything and your understanding of everything. And like I said, it just kind of brings everything together, and the fear, it dissipates. If there was any fear left, it's completely gone. And you just become...
you definitely had a very good hold on your life and everything when you came back. It's you were... It's one of the things I started following the Hindu spiritual practice as well. Not nearly as strict as you are, but you have full control of your life. A lot of people don't want to know that. A lot of people can't handle that. But you literally control every aspect of your life. And that was one of the things I learned. And almost, what was it, a month or two later, I went from being irritated all the time to being pretty much happy all the time.
Yeah. What I write, it says, the truth is nothing without spirituality and oneness. I do want to make sure people understand that. It's nice to know the truth. It's actually really important to know the truth of this world. But not having a large piece of the truth, which is who we really are spiritually on a spiritual level, not in this physical form, just how the whole thing is together, the whole system, is very, very important. So I urge people to, if you haven't, especially if you're new to the truth movement, if you already have a religion, you might want to drop that and seek some true spirituality. Any kind of religion that teaches fear and fear and division
and anger or frustration, and then it's they do what you see in the news. It's they start off with fear, and then they end with but everything's gonna be okay because we're in this together kind of a thing. But it's
religion. Oh, and give your money to Jesus.
Give money to all these people, but make sure it's before your taxes and everything.
I lost my train of thought there, but make sure if you have a religion that you are practicing, you might want to discard that and seek true spirituality, and you can find the direction for that in the ancient, to go as far back as you can, basically.
Yeah.
And you can maybe start finding some pieces of the puzzle there as far as spirituality goes. But yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely say that's a good way to look into things. Always, that's what it comes, even for our history. It's like always go deeper, because there's probably something different that they're not telling you, right? When it comes spirituality, go deeper, go further back.
And it's just as important as the rest of it. I think it's maybe even a little more important than the rest of the truth. Well, because the other stuff is not really, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, everything's a lie. All right, sure, they lied about everything.
Yeah.
Now you need to find out who, like I said, we really are, and who we really are, and all that stuff. But yeah.
All right. That about wraps it up. You want anything else to say?
Everyone be nice to, or kind to each other,
Yes.
and yourself. Be true to yourself. Be integrated into your will and your want or longing to know the truth and oneness and love humanity.